Hello Cancer, my name's Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business now and over 30,000 clients worldwide, 150 YouTube videos up there on all aspects of personal and spiritual growth. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Cancer, to this particular video on your cycles for 2015. We're starting from February. And what I'm going to do for you is to first of all tell you a few things about yourself, Cancer. That's always a lot of fun, and to help you to understand how you're seen from an astrological point of view, considering the fact that I don't have your birth details in front of me, so age differences can make quite a difference in the interpretation side of it. And a lot of the things that I talk about therefore can be for the past, and some can be for the future and difficult to relate to. But I'll do that personality analysis and help you to understand a bit more about yourself and the energies that you're dealing with, Cancer, in the game of life. And then I'm going to look at the movements of the planets as they move through the houses of your horoscope. There's the Sun, which is regarded as a planet from the point of view of astrology. It's a body. And the Sun, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, as they move through the houses of your horoscope in transit, they also activate certain events and conditions in your life according to your reaction to the energies that are coursing through your chakras. They're not as powerful as what's called progressions. There's only two types of predictive methods that astrologers have at their disposal. One is the transits of the planets, and that's a transitory influence. The influences can be changed by being forewarned and moulded and shaped. You might say that these energies create incipient events that may manifest or may not manifest depending on your state of consciousness at the time. But then there's the progressions. Progressions are the second leg of our predictive methodologies that we have available to us in the science of astrology, Cancer. And the progressions are based on your personal horoscope chart. So I need your birth details in order to be able to do the progressions. But basically what it amounts to is that it's a roadmap in your life that you've laid out for yourself prior to coming into incarnation. So the major events of your life are already foreordained there, such as changes of residence, formation of relationships, breakup of relationships, commencement of a job, change in job, health crises, marriage, birth of children, death of those around you, breakups in relationships, journeys overseas, adult education, business and career endeavours, and friendships formed and broken, and bouts in hospital and things like that. So they're the major events in your life that you've set out for yourself, no one else. Karma is never assigned, it's always chosen by yourself. So they're the major events that you've chosen in your roadmap in this life. So basically the progressions give us a roadmap in your life, and it's for you individually based on your personal horoscope and your date and time of birth. So that's much more powerful, but without having your birth details in front of me now, all the best that I can do for you is to take the first one, which is the transits of the planets through the houses of your horoscope. So just sit back and relax. First of all, we'll look at the personality side of you. Cancer, you're a very home-loving person, very family-oriented. You've got a very vivid imagination, a very retentive memory, a tendency to dwell in the past at times, perhaps. And it's very good that you have that imagination there, because the imagination is the method of communication in the inner worlds. Now, with you being a water sign, you're very emotional, very sensitive, and you get a lot of strange feelings that go through you from time to time too, that you find hard to understand and comprehend. You're very conscious and aware of your financial circumstances in life, and you like to take charge of your financial circumstances. But you do like to spend money on luxuries and things like that. You're very meticulous in detail when it comes to communication and putting your point across. You measure things according to detail and practicalities and organisation and planning and so on and so forth. You keep your car nice and clean if you have a car, and you're very fussy and particular about that. But detail in communication and putting your point across is very, very important. Now, you could work in sales at some time. You could have a driving job at some time in your life, perhaps. And you love to have social activities around the home, Cancer. And you love balance around the home. Harmony and balance and equilibrium around the home and through the family side of life is vitally important to you. And anything that threatens that balance, you try and remove yourself from it. So you like artistic things around the place, little statuettes and knickknacks and things like that, and you just love listening to music around the home. You enjoy social activities with parents whilst ever they're alive, and you seem to be attracted towards the water in terms of recreational activities, so you can do swimming and boating and things like that. And also you do get yourself involved in a mysterious relationship at some time in life. That relationship can have a degree of secrecy surrounding it. It can be based on physical attraction. You would probably have 2 or 3 children, I would suggest. And you do seem attracted towards the mysteries of secret relationships, Cancer. You're highly sexed, and there's no two ways about that. Now, you work with people who are born overseas. You could work with importers, exporters, publishers, printers, legal firms, medical firms at some time in your life. You could be involved in the teaching industry or in the advertising industry, or something there that's connected with expansion and growth and development, and importing and exporting and stuff like that. You could even travel connected with your job. Now, you quite often delay marriage. You might get married after the age of the normal, which I suppose is 22, 23. You get married maybe a little bit later than that, or else you live together for a period of time before you bother getting married. You'll marry someone generally who's older than yourself, and or they're very practical and down to earth and appear to be older. And you can meet them through your career or through your business, and you can be in business with your partner too, in terms of a partnership there. Well, that'll do, Cancer, as far as your personality analysis. What I'm going to do for you now is to look at the movements of the planets through the houses of your horoscope, and I'm going to put it on a timeline for you, Cancer, so that I'll put it on a week-by-week basis. I'll tell you where the planets are to start off the month with, the month of February, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, so we start here with the Sun on the 20th of February. The Sun is in the 9th house of your horoscope, and with the Sun being in the 9th house of your horoscope from that time onwards for 30 days, there's a focus upon expansion, foreign travel, adult education, expanding your understanding through philosophy and stuff like that. On the 21st of February, Mars moves into the 10th house of your horoscope. That can see conflicts with parents, conflicts with government departments. A lot of energy there that you're putting into your ambitions in your career, but be careful not to be impulsive for the next 2 or 3 weeks while Mars is there. On the 22nd of February, Venus moves into the 10th house of your horoscope, and that's a much better set of circumstances for any change in career, ambitions, promotions, advancements, social activities with parents. And on the 18th of March, Venus moves into the 11th house of your horoscope, beginning a 2 or 3 week cycle where you'll have a lot of social activities with friends. Other people's children can play a prominent part in your life, Cancer. There's outgoing affections there with friends. New friendships can be formed if you're in the market for a new friendship, and a lot of club activities and group interests. On the 21st of March, Cancer, the Sun moves into the 10th house of your horoscope for 30 days, and it activates your ambitions in life. So you're keen to get ahead and succeed during this particular month, and you're ambitious. You can seek promotion and advancement, expansion in business if you're in business, promotion and advancement if you're in the career. And there's a lot of social activities connected with the career or business, and also to do with parents. On the 1st of April, April Fool's Day, Mars moves into the 11th house of your horoscope and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks, Cancer. With Mars in the 11th house of your horoscope, there's a lot of extra energy introduced into the group activities through friends and club activities and things like that. You'll perhaps be attracted towards aggressive sports and active sports and things like that, if not as a participant, then as a spectator. But there is potential there with Mars in the 11th house for friends to be a bit dominant and assertive in their nature, so don't let them get away with that. But don't argue back. Just relax and let things flow. On the 12th of April, Venus moves into the 12th house of your horoscope. With Venus in the 12th house of your horoscope for 2 or 3 weeks, Cancer, there's a potential there for secret romantic involvements. If you're in the market for one of them, a lot of love for solitude and introspection and reflection. You can have a few secret worries about money matters, perhaps. On the 21st of April, the Sun moves into the 11th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. With the Sun in the 11th house of your horoscope, there's a focus upon friends, group activities, other people's children, and club activities and that sort of thing. On the 8th of May, Venus moves into the 1st house of your horoscope, and that's a beautiful cycle for you. Now, if you're in the market, Cancer, for a relationship, a romantic attachment, then that's a good time for you. Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be very affectionate, very loving, and very sociable, and you'll attract magnetically people towards you who can benefit you in various ways. Now then, on the 12th of May, Mars moves into the 12th house of your horoscope, and that can be a time for 2 or 3 weeks of secret activities, if you're male especially. You can get embroiled in a secret relationship. You can do things and say things, Cancer, which are not in your own best interest when Mars is in the 12th house of your horoscope. So just be careful not to self-sabotage and be self-undoing in certain ways. Now, on the 22nd of May, Cancer, the Sun moves into the 12th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. With the Sun in the 12th house of your horoscope, you've got a tremendous opportunity in that month to benefit from the wonder and the magic of solitude. Solitude is a wonderful thing, to be able to introspect and reflect upon what's gone on in the last 12 months or so in your life, what you've learned from those lessons and things like that, and to aspire towards the divine or towards higher aspects of yourself that you can become attracted to. On the 6th of June, Venus moves into the 2nd house of finances and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks, bringing a boost financially for you, but you'll want to be spending money, Cancer. So you're going to be out there in the shopping centres and searching around for those special little things that you want to invest in and purchase and so forth. It's a very good time for you financially. The money will be coming in, but it'll also be going out, okay? Now, on the 22nd of June, Cancer, the Sun moves into the 1st house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. With the Sun in the 1st house of your horoscope, you'll have a sunny disposition. It's a good time for you personality-wise. You'll have a lot of extra energy there in the personality side of yourself to commence and start new projects that originate from your own creativity. On the 25th of June, Mars moves into the 1st house of your horoscope, and that sees a fair bit of stress and tension there unless you can utilise those extra energies in terms of enthusiasm and energy to apply to your creations and your plans and so forth in your project, not based on impulse, but based on enthusiasm and energy. On the 20th of July, Venus moves into the third house of your horoscope and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks. With Venus in the third house of your horoscope, there's a lot more social activities with relatives and neighbours and those close to you. You'll love music during that next 2 or 3 weeks, and you can have some sort of a romantic involvement can spring from your dealings with relatives and neighbours as well. That's if you're in the market for a romance. 23rd of July, the Sun moves into the second house of finances and remains there for 30 days, Cancer. With the Sun in the second house of finances, there's a focus for 30 days upon money, expenditures, and matters relating to your sense of security in life, okay? Now, on the 26th of July, Venus goes retrograde. Now, when a planet goes retrograde, Cancer, it impacts negatively not upon the house that it's sitting in, but upon the houses that it rules. And Venus rules your 4th house and your 11th house. So therefore, matters relating to the family and the domestic side of life, especially on the social side of life, Cancer, to do with the family and the domestic side of life, can go astray. So plans don't work out the way that you want them to. So just be careful and be meticulous in detail in the planning side of things with regard to family social activities, and try not to go on too late. If you go on too late, you can bring up tensions and so forth. So try and get everybody in, have a good time, get them home to bed where they won't be expressing their tiredness through aggression. And also Venus impacts negatively upon the 11th house of your horoscope, which is to do with your friends, group activities, club activities and things like that. So friends can let you down when Venus is retrograde, impacting negatively on the 11th house. Friends can let you down and disappoint you. You're waiting for somebody to turn up and they don't turn up, or you're planning something out for a week or so ahead and then they ring up and say, I can't make it, or something like that. Now, on the 1st of August, Venus goes back into the 3rd house of your horoscope, but it's still in that retrograde motion, so it's not going to impact, it's going to continue that negative sort of a trait on those 2 houses that I've already mentioned. On the 9th of August, Mars moves into the 2nd house of finances and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks. With Mars in the 2nd house of finances, Cancer, you can be a bit impulsive with money. So just try and relax and don't be impulsive with money. And you'll have a lot of extra enthusiasm for making money, but you can have a lot of stresses and tensions there as well to do with financial matters if you're rather impulsive and get yourself into a bit of debt or something, okay? Now, on the 24th of August, the Sun moves into the 3rd house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. With the Sun in the 3rd house of your horoscope, there's a focus upon your mind, the expansion of your mind through study, research and investigation, and a lot of more social activities revolving around those close to you, like relatives and neighbours, okay? Now, on the 8th of September, Venus starts going direct again, and it is in the 2nd house of finances, and so therefore it's going to be very beneficial for you as far as money is concerned, okay? So it's very beneficial for you financially until it moves into the next house. Now, on the 24th of September, the Sun moves into the 4th house of your horoscope, Cancer. With the Sun in the 4th house of your horoscope for 30 days, it focuses upon the family and the domestic side of life, more contact with parents if they're alive, and a lot more of a sense of belonging to the family unit there during that 30 days. On the 26th of September, Mars moves into the 3rd house of your horoscope. Now, when Mars is in the 3rd house of your horoscope, you'll be bubbling with enthusiasm, Cancer, for your ideas in life, but you drive too fast because of that enthusiasm and extra energy in there, and you're susceptible to accidents, and you can be rather impulsive and dominant and assertive in speech, okay? So also relatives can be a bit assertive. On the 9th of October, Cancer, Venus moves into the 3rd house of your horoscope and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks. Very beneficial time for you in dealings with relatives and neighbours socially. And it's a very happy time for you through listening to music and also driving the motor vehicle recreationally. On the 24th of October, the Sun moves into the 5th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. With the Sun in the 5th house of your horoscope, Cancer, there's a focus upon the children, if they play a prominent part in your life. Romance, love, the social side of life for 30 days, but you'll certainly be a lot more interested in recreation and getting out and about and having a good time. On the 9th of November, Cancer, Venus moves into the 4th house of your horoscope and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks, bringing a lot more love into the home and through the family, and therefore a lot more social involvements around the home, social involvements involving parents as well. On the 13th of November, Cancer, Mars moves into the 4th house of your horoscope and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks. With Mars in the 4th house of your horoscope, there's a propensity to have a lot more enthusiasm to do with family matters, but there's a lot of extra energy introduced into the home environment, which can produce tensions and conflicts. Of course, you're in a confined space there with other people. Accidents involving fire and boiling water and things like that, so just be careful with cooking. And Mars in the 4th house can bring stresses and tensions focusing through parents. Now on the 23rd of November, the Sun moves into the 6th house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days. Health and dietary matters come to the fore. Changes in your job could ensue. And it's a very good time for you socially with people that you work with, Cancer. On the 6th of December, Venus moves into the 5th house of your horoscope. Now with Venus in the 5th house of your horoscope, Cancer, if you're in the market for a romance or a new relationship, that's a very good time over the next 2 or 3 weeks to get out and circulate, make yourself available. And it's a very, very happy time for you through restaurants, places of amusement, happiness through children on a social level. So very, very happy time for you there. Now you'll also be lucky with speculation and gambling during that time. On the 23rd of December, the Sun moves into the 7th house of your horoscope. If you've got a partner or a spouse, that spouse is going to have a lot more sunny disposition, a lot more social activities with your partner and new initiatives on their part to get out and about and have a good time together, and a lot more social involvements out there with the general public in shopping malls and public parades and things like that. And the last one that we come to, Cancer, is the 30th of December. Venus moves into the 6th house of your horoscope, and for 2 or 3 weeks it's a very good time for you for job interviews, favourable for you to do with social involvements with people that you work with. So there's a lot more social involvements there and a great deal more affection between yourself and the people that you work with. Now I'm going to look at the movements of Jupiter and Saturn for you. Now Jupiter moves slow enough to only go through 2 houses in the whole year. And what I'll do is I'll tell you what impact that brings about in the houses that it's sitting in. And then I'll look at Saturn, which only moves through 1 house in the whole year. And I'll tell you the impact there, okay? Now Jupiter is a major beneficial influence in our horoscope. Wherever it sits, it's the embodiment of the second ray of love wisdom, and it always brings growth and expansion and love into your life and expansion in all areas wherever it sits. So when you've got Jupiter in a particular house of your horoscope, it's a very good time for you through that particular house, and it's individual to you because it's in a different house for the other signs, okay? Now Jupiter starts the period off in a retrograde motion. Unfortunately, it's retrograde from the 1st of February right the way through to the 9th of April, okay? So that means that Jupiter is impacting negatively upon the 7th house and the 9th house. The 7th house is your house of your partner and your spouse and your marriage partner and so forth, if you have one. Impacts negatively there in this respect that projects that you plan there with your partner, if not thought out carefully and lovingly, can go astray, okay? You can have bad judgment In other words, when Jupiter is retrograde. You can have bad judgment, and so your partner can have bad judgment too, so you can plan on things together and they just don't work out the way that you want them to. So that's something that's evident there from the 1st of February right the way through to the 9th of April, that you have disappointments there, focusing through your partner and your spouse and your relationship. Potential there for bad judgment, and also the 9th house of your horoscope is the house to do with travel, adult education, expansion, in-laws. So those areas of your life hold the potential for bad judgment, confiding, in other words, in an in-law, confiding something in them that they end up turning around and letting you down. Bad judgment, things like that. So, and you can have some problems to do with in-laws and on the social level with that sort of impact. Now, on the 9th of April, Jupiter goes direct, and it's in the second house of finances. So with Jupiter being in the second house of finances from the 9th of April through until the 12th of August, Cancer, it's a beautiful time for you financially, okay? So there's a good opportunity for you to expand your income, to improve your income, to have money coming from an unexpected source. It's a very good time for you to improve your sense of security, not just financially, but also physically, emotionally, and mentally and spiritually. Now then, on the 12th of August, Jupiter moves into the 3rd house of your horoscope and remains there for the rest of the year. Now, with Jupiter in the 3rd house of your horoscope, it's a tremendous time for you for travel with a relative or a neighbour. It's a good time for you to expand your understanding through study, research and investigation. It's a happy time for you socially, connected with relatives and neighbours, and it's a good time for entering into contracts or agreements and perhaps purchasing motor vehicles or buying or selling things. Now I'm going to look at the movement of Saturn for you. Now Saturn is in the 6th house of your horoscope, and it's been there for the whole of the year so far, and it's been there for a while in 2014 as well. So you've already felt the impact of Saturn there in the 6th house of your horoscope. So you've had problems with your health perhaps. You've had difficulties with regard to employment, difficulties and frustrations connected with the job, maybe sickness of a domestic pet, and you've had maybe some health problems there. It's not a long-term thing. It's been going on only for a period of time, maybe the last 5 months or something like that. Now, Saturn sitting in your 6th house of your horoscope is basically delivering a message to you, Cancer, that you've got to be practical and down to earth with regard to exercise, diet, regimes, and also getting plenty of rest and sleep and looking after yourself with regard to your health. Otherwise, you're going to pay the price through difficulties with your health, okay? Now, Saturn goes retrograde between March and August. And with Saturn going retrograde, it impacts negatively upon your 7th house and your 8th house. Now, the 7th house is the house of your partner, so between March and August there can be problems and disagreements in relationships, problems, breakups in relationships, difficulties with your partner being a bit too possessive and restrictive and limiting in their thinking processes. It can bring financial problems that you share with your partner, difficulties making adjustments and changes within yourself with that 8th house impact. And then after August it starts going direct again. And so that'll start impacting then upon the 6th house of your health again. And that's as far as I go for you as far as your transitory influences are concerned, Cancer. But what I want to do for you, Cancer, before I wrap up this video is to tell you what I'm prepared to do for you as far as your progressions are concerned. Your progressions are much more individual because they're based on your birth details. Nothing to do with other Cancerians. It's to do with your birth details from your individual horoscope chart. So it's your roadmap in life that are laid out there for you in your roadmap there that is your progressions, okay? Now, progressions are what an astrologer uses when they do an individual personal reading on you, and you pay something between $60 and $150 depending on the qualifications, experience and expertise of the astrologer, okay? Now, in your case, I'm going to do your progressions for you for the next couple of years free of charge, okay? Now, what I'm saying to you here is this, is that you have certain events and conditions such as financial difficulties, financial windfalls, accidents on the road, problems in dealings with relatives and things like that, opportunities for entry into contracts or agreements, changes in residence, developments in the family, and things like that, romance and love, formation of relationships, breakups of relationships. You've got things there to do with your health, health crises, health improvements, job changes, things like this, relationships, formation of relationships, strengthening of relationships, breakups of relationships, divorce, death of those around you, inner changes going on inside of yourself, journeys overseas, adult education, business opportunities, career advancement, ending of career and things like that, loss of a job, collapse of business, formation of friendships, breakups of friendships, sickness and death of friends, bouts in hospital yourself. These are events and conditions that you've laid out for yourself in a roadmap prior to coming into life because you wanted to learn certain lessons in life. We're all in a giant spiritual classroom, Cancer. We are all in a giant spiritual classroom, and we, before we come into incarnation, lay out a certain roadmap with things that are going to happen, that are part of our karma or our destiny or whatever you like to call it. And I'm prepared to do those progressions for you over the next couple of years free of charge, okay? And you go to my website and you put your birth details in there, and I'm happy to do that for you. And there's other horoscopes that I'm prepared to do for you too if you want things in more depth and more precision and so forth, okay? Now look, you've got a wonderful opportunity. You've been brought to this particular video, Cancer, because you're ready to make changes inside of yourself. You've been calling out to something higher than yourself for help. You're ready to make changes now inside of yourself that you weren't ready to make even a month ago. So you've got a wonderful opportunity to come to my website. The website address will pop up on the screen shortly. And when you come to my website and submit your birth details, you'll notice there also that there's 12 CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters, on astrology, meditation and reincarnation, that you can download from my website into your computer or into your iPod, and you can play them and you can listen to them. It's with my voice, with beautiful backing music. I take you in and out of meditation time and time again. Hey, so it's nice to have this opportunity, Cancer, to be able to talk with you here and to help you to perhaps take a gigantic step forward in the expansion of your consciousness. God and Goddess love you, Cancer, and they know your name, and they want you to reach and stretch and become more of who you really are, okay? So it's nice to have this opportunity to be able to talk with you, and I look forward to working further with you should you decide to submit your birth details. Thank you.